Welcome folks to the Impossible Challenge. I'm going to try to shoot a video in 11 minutes or less. Turtle Wax, the marketing company that represents Turtle Wax, reached out to me, asked me if I want to test one of their products. Of course I said yes. So here we have their latest and greatest scratch, repair, and renew. Directly from the packaging itself, it says it's capable of removing 1,000 grit sanding marks. That is a very bold statement. I want to test it to see, in fact, if it can remove 1,000 grit sanding marks. Lo and behold, I have some 1,000 grit sanding paper. Most people would not ever think about sandpaper on their car paint. I'm going to deliberately, on this clean surface, introduce, and that is a very diplomatic way of saying, I'm going to scratch my paint. I am scratching my paint with the sandpaper very lightly. All I want to do is introduce some superficial scratches at the level of 1,000 grit. As you can see, as per the LED sitting above the car in my garage, you can see the now abraded, sanded, scratched up area of the paint. Here I have some of my professional tape used in the body shop world. I carry it around with me for protection, so when I need to do polishing, I can do some safe polishing. As per directions on the labeling, you can use this by hand or machine. It's got a protective cap that you will need to remove that is underneath here, which I already have taken the liberty of removing. I've got my microfiber cloth. I've got my single dollop. I'm going to use a 2-finger approach, which really isn't anything other than just a 2-finger approach. And I'm going to go in very hot. And what I mean by very hot is I'm going to rub very aggressively with approximately 8 to 10 pounds of pressure, which for any beginner, if they felt how much strength I'm putting behind this, would go into freak out mode, because they would just never do it. Because we have been taught that paint is oh so delicate and oh so sensitive. But because of experience, I know that removing 1,000 grit sanding marks by hand with a retail product is a pretty bold statement. So I know I have to be very aggressive with this in order to achieve the desired results as per the labeling. Flip the cloth over, buff it, and let's see what we have. Okay, we have some, I will clarify, some success. Do we have complete removal of the scratches? Let me take an additional light source and hover over the goal is for you guys to be able to see the scratches on the right. So right in the middle, approximately there, you can see that it did, looks like remove, I'd say 95% of the scratches, but to the right and to the left, there's definitely some scratches. Let's go in for round 2. What I'm going to attempt to do is to get up close and personal right against that tape line and over to the right and see if I can tease out the desired results. So just know, if you get this product, and by the way, because I've tested so many of these retail scratch removal products, there's not a whole lot of difference. It's more about cost, ease of getting the product, ease of using the product, those types of things that will determine kind of which way you go. I'm not getting paid by Turtle Wax. I'm just testing it in behalf of you guys. So you'll know, A, do I want to get it? B, once I get it, do I even want to use it? And C, how do I use it? So just know, I mean, as I'm talking, I'm rubbing this whole time. Let me wipe off this excess over here to retain the damage over here. And now I'll flip the cloth over I will buff it. And once again, with a lot of work, I was successful at removing most of the scratches. Okay, I'm at 6 minutes now. What I want to do is remove this tape so you can see we've got a definite line of demarcation here. This is where the tape was. I did not touch this area. So this area looks pretty darn good. Considering it's 1,000 grit sanding marks, I would say that this performed well. But in order for it to perform as well as it did, I had to apply a lot of pressure. Way more pressure than any typical car owner is going to apply. But wait, there's more. If you act now, how was that for a little commercial moment? Because I know that very few of you are going to need to remove 1,000 grit sanding marks off of your car paint as a car owner, a retail consumer. This is where the wait, there's more. I'm a big fan of these types of products. Why? Well, because they're packaged in a small package. They're very transportable. They're easy to whip in and out of my van. So while I have endless professional types of polishes, compounds, sealants, waxes, you name it, I reach for one of these because I accept the limitations of these. I know through experience what they're capable of and what they're capable of not. With that said, as a car owner, I consider this a must-have as part of your detailing arsenal. Even though you may have a very weak arsenal, as in like almost zero products, this type of product is very useful for many ways because it has the ability to remove what, let's call it embedded dirt, light scratches, skid marks, certain types of staining and transferring off of your car paint. Let me give you a few specific examples. The door handle, notorious for getting dirt around it. Why? As you grab your door handle to open the door or close the door, a few things happen. People open doors, they reach into the door handle, their fingertips, their fingernails automatically rub up against the inside of the paint here. You're going to take the dirt that's naturally laying on the paint and you're going to rub it into the paint as well as introduce some scratching. So it'll start to build up some scratches here, some dirt. This product is ideal. You just take a little bit and rub very aggressively. You will not need to worry about burning your paint. That would be almost impossible. And then you buff it off, and now instantly it looks better. Even though this has a keyless entry, there's still a key here that you can manually do it in the case of an emergency. You can actually use it to clean this. Now it will leave some white residue in there, but that's where you need to remove the white residue. But it will clean up that little keyhole. And now already two things, bam, looks better. Secondly, when people open doors, what they often will do when they close the door is they will grab along this edge right here. So they'll get out of the car, they'll grab the edge of the door and shut it. So over time, you're going to get some marks right along this edge, both this edge and that edge. This is another ideal way you can clean those areas up. Next place, inside the threshold plate. This is typically what happens. Open the door, people slide their butt. First they slide it next to the bolster, the side bolster. That's just a big fat no-no because you're gonna wear off the side of the bolster with your ass in a matter of no time. So don't do that. But what happens is people will catch the tip of their toe against the door panel, leave some skid marks. No, this is not the product for that. But with your heel, especially women with high heels, is they will kick this threshold plate. On a white car like this, it's going to often show up as black skid marks. This type of product is perfect for removing those skid marks. This door jamb will naturally collect dirt, will naturally take some abuse from your legs. For example, I've got pants on. I may have bare legs on because I'm wearing shorts. So you're going to get grease and oil built up on here. It's going to collect dirt. You're going to get skid marks and scuffs from your shoes getting in and out of the car. Another ideal use for this type of product. So the more you use it, the more you scrutinize your car, the more you want it to look better, the more uses that you will find that this product is extremely useful for. With that said, just to reiterate, I got this for free. I'm not getting paid. By all means, Turtle Wax, if you want to send me a check, by all means, send me a check. Unlikely it's going to happen. Do I recommend it? Yes. Do I give it a thumbs up? Yes. Will it perform as per directions? Yes. But because the labeling, like virtually every other product in this world, is filled with ambiguous terms, generalizations, and there is no standardization to this industry, that's where you have to somehow adopt some realistic expectations. I read the reviews on this product on Amazon. Welcome to the world of social media. This is a little sidebar. It's like social media is this one big brewing, stewing pot of all the disturbing things about human nature, about society. It's like, oh my gosh, are there people really this unrealistic? Are these people really that ignorant? So I know when I say that, I probably come across as some elitist snob, and that's fine. But I guarantee every one of you have had those moments, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Amazon reviews, go down the list. It's like, oh my gosh, what WTF? What's going on here, people? So what I notice is within those reviews that people clearly have unrealistic expectations. Not completely all their fault. Because of slick marketing and advertising, it strongly suggests that this can perform in ways that simply it cannot. So it's a misrepresentation at a level. But that's where you can play word games. You can use slippery terms, sophisticated terms, ambiguous terms to sell a product, to separate you from your money. That's one of the things that was a glaring obvious when I'm reading the Amazon reviews on this, because I think it only gets like a 3-star rating overall. But I'm reading the reviews and it's clear to me, based on my experience, that people have unrealistic expectations. You're not going to transform your car that has been neglected or abused or is old into some showpiece by a single product, using it by hand, which is what most people will default to, is using it by hand. And under even best of circumstances, they'll even use a microfiber cloth, because most people are probably going to reach for some household cloth that's cotton, that's naturally kind of abrasive to paint anyways. So that's why the product, it's almost a losing battle. But I can give it a thumbs up because I don't have those unrealistic expectations. Just know it's not going to transform your car into a showpiece by following the directions. But it will work for very specific reasons. So once again, lower your expectations. That way you won't be disappointed, but you will still be able to achieve many desired results. You still will be able to make your car look better. Not worse, but better. And who, at the end of the day, doesn't want a better looking car? So, in conclusion, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment for other people to see, but please apply some realistic expectations. And if you feel like you don't have enough experience in which to ask a good question, maybe that's an indicator to perform what I call a little bit of due diligence. Dig in, see if you can learn a little bit, see if you can come to a conclusion as to what realistic expectations means in this moment with all this new terminology, ambiguity, generalizations. Until next time, we will see you in the next video.